everybody, and welcome to the Wench Bench, where friends sit and talk about fabulous fictional females and how their stories have influenced us throughout our lives. My name is Alison.
And my name is Fonda.
And today we have a very special guest. Shelina, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Shelina. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm here to talk about Neagley from Reacher.
Nice.
I'm quite excited.
I'm sorry. I feel like I don't know how to be a person right now.
That's okay. What's existing? I don't know.
It's now and present.
So, Neagley is from the Reacher Amazon TV series, yes?
Yes, she is one of the characters from what you just said. I don't know why I repeated that.
That's okay. Alison, I've watched it. Have you watched the series?
I have not, no. So this is going to be all new to me. I'm very excited to hear about her.
It's so good.
I'm excited to hear someone else's perspective because I also like and enjoy Neagley very much. So I'm intrigued to see what you are talking about when it comes to why she's a cool character for you.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited because the only other person I talk about this is someone I work with. So this will be great.
Okay, so where would you like to start?
Do you want the background first and then
Yeah, let's take a background.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Reacher is about a retired military policeman named Jack Reacher, who is played by Alan Richardson. Season 1 was released on February 4th in 2022, and it was based on Lee Child's debut novel Killing Floor. And then Season 2 was released on December 15th of 2023. That one was based on Bad Luck and Trouble. I'm going to mainly focus on the TV series because I have not read all. There's 20 books, I think. I haven't read all of them. Yeah.
That's fair. We don't expect anybody to read all of the stuff that comes with things. Lord knows I don't.
Neagley's only in 6 of the books, or she's in 5 books, but yeah. The first season takes place in a small town in Margrave, Georgia, where Reacher is arrested for murder. Reacher then has to clear his name, and in doing so, found that his brother was the actual murder victim. On his path to avenge his brother, he reaches out to his good friend, Francis Neagley, to look into a phone number he found in his brother's hotel room. Fun fact, this does not happen in the book. Neagley helps Reacher by giving him background information on the organization that he is up against, and she also travels down to Margrave to provide backup in his final boss fight.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I actually go into
She's
that.
cool.
She's a badass.
Love it.
So it's kind of a bummer because she's only in 2 episodes in Season 1, but she has a huge role in Season 2, and that takes place in Atlantic City and New York City. Neagley sends Reacher an inconspicuous military emergency code through his bank account, and when Reacher sees this, he calls her immediately, and she informs him that there's trouble in the 110th. Some background on the 110th: they were a group of special investigators in the Army handpicked by Reacher to give them the toughest cases. The 110th formed such a bond that no matter the time or distance between them, they would drop anything to be there for each other.
I love a group of military friends.
Oh, yeah. They go into their
great story
background,
structure.
too. Yeah, it's great. After Reacher calls Neagley, she informs him that one of the 110th has been murdered, and Reacher makes his way to Neagley. They meet up with a few other members of the 110th, and the search is on to avenge their fallen friend. A lot of Reacher's stories are based on, revenge. It's always avenging someone.
Love it. For sure, yeah. It's a classic action movie stuff.
It's the best. Neagley is played by Maria Stein, but the show follows Reacher. I got into Reacher because I was traveling with my boss, and he was like, "You gotta watch Reacher." And I was like, I guess. So I got home that night, put it on, binged the show through, the last episode of the first season, and then finished the second season in his car on our way to our job the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
How many
actually
are there?
a problem. 16 total for the 2 seasons, I believe.
So it's just the 8-episode seasons. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not a long season show kind of gal.
Yeah, they're an hour, 40-ish to an hour long, so, like, sometimes it feels like you're watching forever, but it goes by so quick. It's like you're watching a movie over and over again. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. So the thing I like most about the show is, like, the action, the dialogue. And sometimes there's no dialogue, but you understand what's really going on because of the lack of dialogue. So it makes it great.
It's definitely a show that requires observation skills to kind of pick up stuff that they're showing you. Yeah. When there's no talking.
Yeah. And sometimes you're like, am I missing something? Because you're not talking and you're not looking, and you are. You are definitely missing something.
Yeah.
So it's not second screen friendly, which is apparently a thing that shows are like trying to be now. I don't know. I read a something or other on it, and my husband told me about it, that apparently TV shows are trying to be second screen friendly so that people can be scrolling TikTok and watching TV at the same time.
Just listen to a podcast. Just put a podcast on if you want to do something else.
I don't know. Yeah. I play stupid games like Power Wash Simulator. And
hey, we open Valley our podcast with that a lot.
While I watch TV.
Well, Stardew Valley, I think you can get away with, unless you're fighting something.
No, it's just when I'm wandering around, making sure my farm is okay and taking care of my children and my wife.
I love Stardew Valley. It's my favorite game.
It's a good game. It's a very good game. But, okay. Focusing on season 2, obviously, because that's when we get to see Neagley the most. Is there a scene, or maybe more than one, like particular moments that really spoke out to you for one reason or another about Neagley as a character and like why she was great? Because obviously, like, having watched it, she's fantastic in every episode.
Yeah, there's not a bad episode.
There's not a bad episode. This bitch loves cereal, and you know it from the start because all of her t-shirts that she wears are cereal brands.
Yes, or they're game-related.
Or game-related. And all she really eats are cereal, and she lists her 3 favorite cereals
in order.
Every time, in order of preference. So, like, she's great for, like, a lot of very fun reasons, not just because she's smart and not just because she's very powerful in many ways. She's also funny in like an understated sort of manner, and she has a lot of interesting relationship connections with everybody you see in the show.
Yes.
So for you, Shelina, I'm curious which like particular scene or moments where you're like, okay, I like her. Okay.
Yeah, there is one major scene in season 1 actually that made me fall in love with Neagley, and then several that back it up in season 2. Mm-hmm. So the scene in season 1 is when they're interviewing a criminal in a strip club. It's Neagley and Reacher, and they have 2 police informants with them. They're talking to this criminal, and he gives them a vague and ominous name of the Viking, and they have to go find him and whatever. But we see in the corner one of the dancers is being grabbed by a drunk customer. Now, before anyone can react, Neagley is up. She is over there. She has made her way to this man and says one thing, hey, then proceeds to step on his crotch, wrap his head in, I believe, a scarf, slam his head into a table, and then calmly reminds him that when a woman says no, or that she doesn't want to be touched, it means she doesn't want to be touched. And
wow. I love that
scene. Yeah, it was great. Few things stand out to me about it, though. Neagley didn't physically touch the man, but he, with her hands, but he felt every bit of anger that was inside of her. And she did not, the second thing is she didn't hesitate to do what needed to be done when it needed to be done. There was no, pause in her reaction. It was great. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think people in, regular life should necessarily take things that far, but definitely, showing that people should step up is a great thing to show.
I'm not saying physical violence is the way, but I'm saying, hey, maybe someone should have done something other than just sit there and watch it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yeah, definitely speak up. So that was really cool. And that's the scene that I was like, oh, Neagley is 100% a badass, and I love it.
She is. She's very... Like, you know when some people are like action first, like they'll do a thing and then they realize or think about the steps or something later? I feel like Neagley can do both.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, she acts so quickly and calmly. By calmly, I mean, like, you can tell she's level-headed even if she's upset.
Yeah. You see that in a lot of the like, gunfights they get into. She's very much calculating and doing things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is... I wish I had that trait.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely do not.
Nope.
In season 2, episode 6, it's Death of a Friend. Neagley, one of the... and then 2 other members of the 1/10th, Dixon and O'Donnell, are racing to get to one of their new friends who I am very sad that they killed off. Russo. Time
Spoilers.
is running. I'm sorry.
Just kidding. So we give spoilers on this show all the time. It's no problem.
I know. I've listened. I've binged the whole thing. But the time is running out, and when they arrive, Neagley just runs over the guy who is about to kill a kid. They get out and look for Russo. And Neagley finds him, and he's lying on the ground, bleeding out when she reaches him. He reaches out his hand, and the scene made me cry like a baby.
Me too.
He reaches out his hand because he didn't want to die alone. And so she takes his hand and puts his head on her lap and strokes his head and comforts him in his last moments. First of all... Yeah, it's awful. It made me cry because a good man dies. Like, Russo was nothing but a good guy.
He's such a good cop.
He was like the kind of cop you want around.
Yeah.
And then, Neagley goes way out of her comfort zone to comfort him. And it just shows you how good of a person she is, just to be able to overcome her fear and comfort someone she barely knows. Neagley has half a phobia, the fear of touch, and the fact that she comes completely out of her comfort zone and comforts someone she knows to be a good person is really, really nice. You see this fear come up a lot more, too, when her and Reacher say goodbye in the first season. They do this weird, like, wave where they just stand. They don't even physically wave. They just stand and put their hands up. And I was like, that's so weird. Why do they do that? And then I looked it up, and it's because she has a fear of touch. And Reacher really respects her.
Oh, good.
So he doesn't push it. Yeah, it's great. Mm-hmm. Another scene in season 2 that really stood out to me was the goodbye. And it's in the last episode of the season. When Neagley and Reacher are saying goodbye, Neagley says, "I'm not as comfortable with this arrangement as I thought I was. Years without seeing each other, never speaking, getting together only when we're being shot at. You need to get better at staying in touch. Is that understood?" Reacher replies, "Yes, Master Sergeant."
Oh.
This scene's like another tears. But seeing her be so vulnerable, it was not what I was expecting at all. And it shows you how much emotion she has, but she keeps everything under check. And she just is very goal-oriented. And she won't let her emotion overcome her, which another callback to us saying, like, she calculates things and does things. This is a really good way of expressing her feelings and her emotions at a appropriate time rather than just losing that. And I also think it shows emotional growth for her to actually reach out and be like, hey, the rest of us talk to us. Don't just go ghost again.
Yeah.
It helps humanize her in a way.
Yeah, and I think especially for the next season, I hope Neagley, even if she's not one of the main characters like she was in season 2, I hope she can be, called upon or talked to or something in season 3 to show Reacher's growth at her request of what happened at the last episode. Because I think you're right. In many ways, Neagley and Reacher are very similar.
Yep.
Which the show showed us, and I thought which was really cool. But also it showed how their differences in a way can complement each other. And as long as they like, if they respect each other so much, like they should be able to say things and be like, hey, I'm not cool with this, like she did. And it's very nice to see, especially because sometimes I feel like when in shows a woman makes requests, even if it's level-headed and calm, sometimes it can be taken in certain manners where it's just like, oh, whatever, like overlooked, or they're just kind of like, you're being too demanding. And I really appreciated how Reacher always expressed that Neagley had his respect from the get-go.
Right.
So when she made such a request of him, he was like, yeah. I agree. It's a really good scene for multiple reasons.
Yeah. It honestly, the way you said it, like the fact that they have such a, that she is a like female version of him, I think it also helps like bring in like more of that female audience to the show, because it's like, oh, there's a badass female in here too. I like that.
She's so cool.
Yeah, she's great. Those are my 2 favorite scenes from season 2. Did you have any favorite scenes?
I think one that stood out was what that was a big sigh, I'm sorry. I think the one that I, besides seeing her talk about cereal, which I just love that quirk about her. I'm like, yes, I love it when a character has a quirk, you know, and it's apparent. And it's not just like a thing that happens once. It's like a thing that's they maintain as a consistency. Adds like a level of like humanness more to fictional characters. But what I liked was when they had to get dressed up in that 1 or 2 episode batch.
Yes.
And
I liked how they didn't,
because she's not, it's good. She's good. Neagley is shown to not be a very like quote unquote girly person, but she never disses that, which I really like, because she wore heels and she wore a dress, and it was known that she's like, this isn't my jam, and you could tell she wasn't as uncomfortable with it, but she like maintained her composure and was like, I'm doing this for the job, and like she kicked ass in heels, and when it was done, she took the heels off and she's like, I fucking hate heels or something. And I just liked how it wasn't made in a way to be like, you know, she's a tomboy or a boy's guy, like a guy's gal or something. Like, she isn't very feminine in some ways, but she acknowledges that she can be. Mm-hmm. And she acknowledges that another partner of hers, who's definitely a little bit more feminine, can still rightfully kick ass in doing these like feminine things. And so I liked that scene because it wasn't knocking on either of the 2 women in the show.
Right.
For being more into wearing like dresses and clothes and makeup and like feeling more sexy and confident in certain ways than the other. So I liked that scene a lot because it just made me think like they understand the like multitude that women can fit themselves into, even if they don't want to wear dresses and skirts and get their nails done, or if they don't like pink. Like, it doesn't mean showing them knock on other women that do is a okay thing to have, or having the other character be like, oh, like, you know, you should wear dresses more, you'd actually really like it, or something like that. I really liked how both characters were very respectful of how the other one lives as a woman in the show.
Yeah.
So I liked that scene.
It's nice. Yeah.
It's good. They both kicked ass in nice outfits.
They really did. I was like, how are they going to do this? Oh, they were fine.
They're great.
They were totally fine.
I just can't imagine fighting in heels. That would be awful.
Some of my heels I could probably make
I would take them off right away.
They were wearing like stilettos. I was like, absolutely not. No. I'd have broken that thing.
Yeah, I would have broken it or kicked them off.
Yeah, no, I got some real thick like boots.
Yeah.
That I could probably fuck somebody up in, but
yeah, like a thick heel.
Yeah.
A thick heel I can understand, but those thin ones, I'm like, I can barely walk in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But God forbid you step in like a grate.
Or on grass. Or pass.
Or grass.
Just walking across a lawn in a pair of stilettos is like, I'm going to aerate this for you.
You don't just walk on your toes.
It's so much, because then you start looking like weirder. You're like, this is fine. Yeah. I actually saw like there was like some random video online, and some girl's like, I found the most amazing thing for my wedding that's going to be on the lawn, and they were like little cups, little round silicone cups that go on the heel that increase its like surface area, but you can't see it because they're clear, and so you can just slide it onto the heels. And I'm like, oh my God. That's so smart.
Great invention.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. It's nice to hear that they actually like got along, because very often in any like action genre, it's so male focused that a lot of times the women characters tend to either be like, oh, this is the good one and this is the villain one, and they obviously can't get along. And you only get like certain archetypes of women, and they never really get to like coexist in a in a friendly way, and not in like an animosity, like we're going against each other kind of way. It's just, I'm picturing so many main lead. Different versions of like the same characters, where it's just like, this is the badass one who's like his partner in crime who he doesn't realize, but they're totally gonna fall in love. And then there's the one that wears all the black leather and they have tons of sexual chemistry, but she's the bad guy, and he has to break away from his feelings for her. It just happens so
She betrays him later.
She betrays him later, and then his friend, the good one, proves her value.
Proves her value.
Proves her value. Yeah. I watch a lot of action movies, and oh boy, are the women not treated well. Lots of sexy lamps.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Lots of sexy lamps.
Would like Reacher then, Allison.
Yes.
I think you would genuinely enjoy Reacher.
Yeah. Definitely doing a good job at convincing me to add it to my list of things to watch, now that I've finished binge watching Love is Blind. And all the horror that is that show.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting transition to go to Reacher from that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watch both.
Simultaneously.
Watch both.
Sometimes you need a break from Love is Blind.
Because this last
what are they doing?
Has been...
I haven't finished it, but I know it's a mess.
It is
because I listen to a lot of podcasts.
It is the best reunion of like possibly any reality TV show I have ever watched. Like, this reunion was fucking insane. My friend and I watched it together, and we're texting each other the whole time.
I am very excited to watch it then.
You'll have to send me messages while you're watching it. I expect reactions.
Like, wait, what?
Just chatting the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you, Shelina. Mm-hmm. Out of the other relationships that Neagley has in the show, obviously the one that's more prominent and obvious is her relationship with Reacher. Were there any other like relationships you noticed, or her interaction with other cast members who played the other characters on the show, that you wanted to talk about, or like you noticed thinking back on it, that you liked or didn't like for any reason?
So, I feel like the one I like the most would be her relationship with Dixon, the other female character. They went out and they had like a whole episode together where they were trying to like figure out who this guy was and why he was at this place and like what they were doing. But the part I liked about that is when they were in the action part of it, where they were getting shot at and everything, they were so in sync that it wasn't, they weren't fighting for who was in charge. They weren't fighting for this. They weren't fighting for anything. They were just in sync. And it was like they were talking without talking, which is why I said you actually have to watch the show, because there's a lot of that happens. And it's like that for like all of the 1/10, but like you see it really easily between these two in the car scene where they're chasing the missiles that are being stolen.
Casual.
Yeah, I mean that's what's happening.
Standard Monday.
So, yes, standard, normal thing for them. So, but you also see it during their flashbacks when they would be in the office and like they'd all be working together and stuff like that. Like, it's just, there was no competition. They all had a role to play and they played it to like the best of their ability. And I think like without having to communicate, them still being able to pull off and not be murdered when they were outnumbered was amazing.
I agree. I really like Dixon as a character too.
I hope they bring her back.
I do too.
I don't know if she comes back in any of the books, but I really hope they bring her back.
She's like the finance lead of the team. Like, she's really good with numbers.
Ooh, she's a forensic accountant. She's what I want to be.
Oh, fancy.
She's very cool.
With less guns.
Very smart in different ways. And like, she's the one that kind of gets with Reacher in this season.
That's a constant. Reacher's always with a different woman in each season.
Standard.
But it's not like
Bond
in a
girl
bad way.
archetype, right?
But it's
but
not
probably
bad,
better. Bond girls are treated like shit most of the time. We have a whole episode.
I was gonna say definitely more.
I know. It's good. Everyone should listen to it.
Reacher treats the women in the last few seasons like every woman's kind of like different, whether it's like the love interest or like someone he's working with. But I really appreciate how fucking respectful he is.
That's good
consistently. So nice.
Yeah, it's
very good.
Especially with Dixon, because it's like shown that she tried when they were in the 110th, and he's like, I am your commander. That's not okay.
Look at him being responsible and not taking advantage of his power roles. Being a good man.
Right. Like, very Reacher's good. Everything that if I liked men, it'd be a Reacher.
If I was into men, it would be a man like this.
Yes, 100%.
This guy here, good example.
He's great. He's a good guy.
You can have a bunch of different girls as long as everything is respectable and consensual and there's regular communication.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Just be an adult about it.
Exactly.
Speaking of adulting, it's interesting in the show because Neagley has a lot of money, like not in like a I'm so rich and look at me, I'm like newly rich, but like she ends up paying for a lot of things for Reacher because he lives off of his pension and he's a nomad. He just all he owns is a toothbrush and whatever clothes are on his back.
That's it. And he gets new clothes by going to thrift stores and buying new clothes, and then he leaves his old clothes there.
Just goes to Walmart. It's like, this is a good enough new outfit.
Oh, no. Like thrift stores. He will not go into a Walmart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thrift stores or gas stations sometimes.
Yep. It's so funny.
But so Neagley ends up paying for a lot of stuff. And she's kind of like, it's fine. It gets brought up a bit. And the only reason I'm mentioning it is because it's kind of nice to see the role reversal in a way of like two friends and one of them has more money than the other person. Because usually in a lot of stuff, it's like a girl and like it's kind of awkward when like a female friend in the show maybe has more money than you and they kind of like, they'll help you, but then they kind of hold it against you. Or like if it's a girl and a guy is doing it, later it's kind of like, oh, but I bought all this stuff, like you owe me favors. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to see Neagley kind of be the one in a relationship that's depicted of like a friend helping another person out that has more money. And like, how I think that got treated in the show is really cool too, because you can tell she doesn't really give a shit kind of that she has the cash. She just does, and she doesn't mind helping people with it. And then he's kind of like I'll pay you back, like he's like bringing it up just like it's fine, and she's like no, it's fine. And then later he gets a bunch of money at the end of the show that he just gives out and ends up helping Neagley's dad, I think.
Yeah, her dad.
Yeah, because while she has quite a bit of money, she obviously can't afford for some extra services for her father and like healthcare stuff. And with all this extra money that he ends up getting, because he's fine taking money from bad people, which is totally cool. I love it.
Robin Hood
but he gave her a lot for her her dad, to help him. And that was really cool to see. Yeah. Like, the start of it was like, this is how, like, you might not take my money as a repayment for everything you've spent for me, so I'm going to do this for you.
Yes.
And I liked that about their relationship, too.
Yeah. There's another point to that. In season 1, Reacher does all this stuff to find Neagley when they first meet up. And he's like, it has to be the specific place, the specific thing. And she's going to pick a really affordable place because she grew up poor. And then she was like, I have money. I'm staying at a Four Seasons. I just came here because I knew you would want me to come. Like, this is where you would think I would come. And seeing that was like the penultimate of, oh, they're best friends.
Yeah.
Oh, because he like way overthought it. And she was like, oh, you want food and your mom was French, so you're going to go to a bistro? Let's go. I know where you're going. It was the funniest thing.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun little like quip moments that they have that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I love a platonic male-female friendship.
Yes.
And you can 100% tell.
You can 100 tell. It's a new phrase.
You can 100 tell. You can 100% tell that it's not going to go any further than that ever.
Good.
Which I love.
Hate that. When they're just like,
I hate when it's like,
will they, won't they? It's like, can't they just be friends? Leave them. It's fine.
Yeah. And I love it because they're just friends. It's great.
Yay.
Well, I think it's great to show because in real life, more men and women need to see you can have friendships with the opposite sex, and it doesn't have to be something where like your partner is like, oh, I don't like that you have a best guy friend and you go hang out, because it makes them feel uncomfortable or self-conscious or jealous. And like, it's good. It's good. The show is good.
It is. It hits a lot of good like moral points and a lot of good like emotional points. Like, I haven't cried at a show in so long, and this show had me bawling.
Oh, I know, especially with the animals in both seasons.
No, I don't want to cry again.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm. And it like really shows that it's okay to have a group of friends that you don't talk to all the time, but you know you can always rely on.
Yeah.
Because I'm always telling people, I'm like, I know I don't talk to you every day, but we're still good friends. I'm just busy. I have my own life.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because the quantity of time we are seeing each other has diminished doesn't negate the quality
exactly
of that small amount of time.
Exactly. Now, I do agree with Neagley when she says that they should spend more time not getting shot at together. However,
a little bit more normal.
It's like they know. Yeah, like, just go hang out. Maybe you should have gone to your friend's wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me what train you're getting on next so I know where you are in the country.
Right.
It's good. Because it is interesting, because Neagley is more on top. Like, if we're comparing Neagley and Reacher again, Neagley is more on top of checking in on the 1/10th, whereas Reacher isn't. Like, when he met Neagley in the start of the season, he finds out like someone died and he didn't know, and he didn't go to their funeral. Like, a few people got married and had kids, and then just like a list of things that he's like finding out, and you can tell he's feeling bad about it. And then Neagley is just kind of like not wanting to make him feel bad, but not wanting to be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Right? She's kind of just like, guy, like, this is what happens when you are a nomad and you choose not to have a phone or like certain forms of contact, except, hey, let me get into your bank statements and do this like secret bank code.
Yeah.
In hopes that you see it in a few days to call me.
Right. Like, it's crazy that she had to go to that length of like thinking to get to him, to get him to call her.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that they all have a large set of skills in order to contact one another.
Yes.
They need it.
Yes.
Apparently.
Oh, if I had those skill sets, damn.
I don't know what I would do with those skill sets.
I think I would have fun, creative things. I would try to think of fun, creative things to do.
Yeah. I'd be like, I wonder what anagram I can break into now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or start like going to a library and like opening books and like leaving in secret coded messages that lead to some kind of like little kids treasure hunt and figure and when maybe one day someone finds it.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything useful with my skills or my talents. I'm just going to fuck with people. I'm just going to make them really confused. I'm going to get them to do all this work. They're going to be like, man, I bet you whatever this secret code unlocks is probably super cool. And it's just like a dumb, like,
a cereal box,
stuffed animal or something. It's a Funko Pop. It's just like, here you
They're going to unlock the code and then they're going to get Rickrolled.
Yeah. Like, hey, you remember this internet meme from fucking decades ago?
It's not that old, is it?
It's getting pretty old.
Sadly.
When was the first time? I'm gonna go.
In the age of memes and how much quicker memes and jokes change nowadays, I feel like it is old. If it was like circa 2012, maybe not that old, because I feel like memes lasted a lot longer.
Yeah, like they lasted
2007.
Now I'm just thinking about it.
2007 was the
I just got Rickrolled the other day. I'm just saying, it's still happening.
Oh, for sure.
It started in 2007 on the image board 4chan. So just about decades, all right? I was not that far off. Ooh, in 3 years, it'll be 2 decades old.
Now I'm strongly aware of how old I am right in this moment.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I really just aged myself. I was like, man, woof. Oh, no.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, you know what scene we should talk about?
Which scene?
The scene where they're having a flashback in season 2 and they go into like that one bar or whatever that's for certain people with certain titles within the army or whatever. And Neagley doesn't have that title and there's a bunch of people that are jackasses about it.
Yeah.
And it was like a bonding moment for the 110th. That was a good scene. I'm trying to remember.
So I don't think any of the 110th except for Reacher had that status because he was like, she wasn't a sergeant master then. And what was Reacher? He was like a...
Yeah, but she was the only one they outwardly, I think, had a problem with.
She spoke to them.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, if you need me to leave, I can leave. Mm-hmm. And Richie was like, no. None of us are leaving. We're having a beer.
We're having a good time.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're relaxing. And then they were like, if you want us to leave, make us leave. And then they all got in a really physical fight. And I was like, oh, this is going to be bad because there's a bar of people fighting, 10 of them?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you see someone get thrown out of a window. And I'm like, it's none of them. Wow, they really won.
Yeah, and then it ends with them being at like a bonfire and like a guy's playing on a guitar and they're hanging out. And like that's when they fully like bonded. Mm-hmm. But it was a good scene because it was also the first time Reacher obviously showed his respect to Neagley.
Yes.
in front of like a lot of people, and it was a good scene. Yeah, nothing like a bar brawl to bring great. Your friends together.
You know, sometimes it works. It's just, you know, keeps you close.
I've never had the set experience, so I cannot disprove it.
I've had a close experience, so I mean, it works. But yeah, no.
Avoiding a bar brawl also brings you together.
That's true.
But Neagley's really good.
Neagley's great. Fun. I connected with her on a lot of things, though. Like her boundaries. Yeah. The way she sticks to her boundaries and does not let anyone push them. In season 1, episode 5, we talked about already. She stopped that man from touching someone else because she heard their boundaries were being broken. In season 2, someone tried to give her a handshake and she said, "Not my thing," and wouldn't even address it. Just said, "Not my thing." Yeah. Loved it. her willingness to go out of her comfort zone for her friends, wearing the dress that we talked about on a mission. I mean, I don't even think I would do that. So, like, I'm debating on wearing one for my wedding. I wish.
Yeah, if I knew I had to run somewhere, I would wear comfortable shoes and pants.
Exactly.
See, well, but they got some really for the mission. Nice, elegant, like, wedding suits and stuff now. Like, there's some...
Yeah, pants.
There's some incredible options out there. Dresses aren't
They do,
everything.
But... So the thing is, we're changing from a dress straight into a tracksuit after the pictures.
Oh, fun.
So I'm like, can I just do it for like an hour and be fine? Because I'm sure I can. Like, I don't hate wearing dresses. I was just like, I don't know if I want to.
As a person who selfishly ran away and didn't tell anybody I was getting married until I was already married, do whatever makes you happy and fuck everybody else.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who
we eloped.
Had a wedding.
We vote? Is that what you said?
We eloped. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, we eloped.
We lied to everybody and we snuck away and we just, the two of us, got married in Maui. It was... Nobody knew.
That sounds amazing.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
it was
I remember
best choice ever.
I remember calling you because I had a question. And you were like, Fonda, I'm busy. And I'm like, what do you mean? And you're like, I'm in Maui. And I'm like, oh.
I'm in Maui.
And then you're like, yeah, I'm getting married today. I'll call you later. And I was like, oh.
Congratulations.
Surprise.
I was like,
Facebook.
okay, bye.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. No, it's your wedding. It's your day. You're the one spending a bunch of money on it. Do whatever you want, and everybody else can pound sand.
Just like how Neagley can do whatever she wants, and everyone can suck it.
Exactly. Fonda,
that's just the thing. I do anything I want.
I was a bridesmaid for Fonda, and Fonda got to have all of this like directly in her ear. I was just like, fuck everybody else. Like, I'm such an aggressive bridesmaid that I'm just like, this is your day.
Yeah. Yeah, I was getting so pissed at certain things. I was like, I don't want, what the fuck, no. I want to have a wedding because I want to have a wedding. I don't want to do it for other people, and I hate that other people are meh.
See, I wanted to elope. Tori wants to have a wedding, so I was like, we can have a wedding because you want to have a wedding, but if it's someone else saying we need to have a wedding, I don't care.
Yeah, and to like wrap it back around to like boundaries. It's important to know what boundaries you're willing to push with the people who matter to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, as long as you're the one that's also being like, I'm breaking my boundary because I'm making the choice for this said reason.
Right. And that's like her willingness to go out of her comfort zone. Like, she only did that, and even with Russo, she did that for him. Went out of her comfort zone to help him in his time.
Yeah, that was I was so sad at that scene.
Yeah, that was a rough scene.
It was, especially because the episode ended after that.
Yep.
And then you were like, I was like, I remember watching it after it was over, and I was like, but he's gonna be okay, right? Right? Like maybe he's just gonna be really injured at the hospital. Right? He's such a good guy. He has to fight Reacher. They talked about it. They were gonna fight each other.
Yeah.
Like this New York cop with a really great accent's gonna fuck Reacher up. I want to see it. And no. I'm so sad. But I like that Neagley was there.
Yeah. I that shows a lot of growth for her too. Like, it's just but yeah, sad. How loyal she is. Something I really connected with. She's ride or die. I love it. It's like any time of the day you call her, anything you need, she's there for you.
Though out of the other group, out of the 1/10, she was the one that I think was also more open to discussing if one of them betrayed each other. She obviously didn't like it, and you could tell, but she was definitely the one that was like, she's very realistic. We should talk. Yeah.
She's very realistic, and she's going to always be 100% honest about it too. So the fact that she was one of the only people that was like, well, what if he is dirty? And the only person who didn't come around to it was Reacher. Reacher was like, he's not dirty. I don't believe it ever.
The whole time he was stagnant against it. Even when there was what could have been like evidence to definitely switch his view.
He refused.
Like, loyalty is important,
like,
but
no.
sometimes it can be a little too much.
It can be blinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be a little realistic and say things can go wrong and things can go left. So, and also they did flash back to a scene where one of the 1/10 was also could have been doing something really sketchy with the cocaine in the car. So it's just like, is he dirty? But that's for you to find out.
Yes, you should watch.
I look forward to it.
I won't tell you that one.
I look forward to it. Fonda's bad, overly sexualized description of the show during our last episode really made me want to watch it.
I was like, it's just fun watching this guy choke another man. And I was like, but not in a sexy way. Like, he's just...
She just kept digging the hole deeper. She's like, yeah, he just really fucks this guy up. There's like
There's a huge pause between up.
I was like, he really wants that guy?
Really fucks this guy. He does what now? Excuse me?
But it's very fun. It's very fun. It's a good show with action, and I think they definitely take their time with characters.
Yes.
Which is why Neagley is such a good character.
That's a good thing too, because she does connect with everyone on the 1/10. She even tries to connect with the new people, even though she hates new people. So
I feel that.
You're just like, no, I met my people. I have my quota. I'm good, right?
Yeah, and then every once in a while I meet new people and I was like, oh, okay, you are my people. Okay, you can
I guess I can have a few more people.
You're
Which is why you're on the show. Oh, I met more people.
I met a few more people.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I have a few random fun facts that I don't know if I hit all of.
Yeah.
Oh, we could end it with all your random fun facts about Neagley.
Okay. It's kind of about Reacher in general, but it's mainly about Neagley. There's 29 Reacher books. She's a fan favorite, but only appears in 5 of them.
She makes a good impact. Damn.
She first appears... Yeah, she doesn't even appear until book 6, without fail. Yeah. And she's a fan favorite. Fans love her.
Awesome.
I can see why, just based off of her TV show portrayal.
It's rumored that they included her to help tie the seasons together, and it helps create a more cohesive story, as the books are not in any particular order, and the stories are not 100% interrelated.
Interesting. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I think, because without Neagley in the first season... I feel like if we would have just gotten a random notification from someone in the second season, I'd have been like, who is this? Why do they matter?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely
Those are my
art.
few fun facts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely an art to transitioning from novel to TV show. There are certain story elements that you just can't, you can't live without in a TV show. You need to have through lines. And yeah.
Especially because nowadays media literacy is tanking.
So much.
Media literacy is getting really bad.
So bad.
So they need to make it obvious.
Yeah. There's no inferring anymore.
No, it has to.
No, there's no critical thinking.
But the good thing to come out of us wanting to generally as a society improve our media, the good thing that comes out is from everything that you guys have said, it does really sound like in an action genre they're doing a good job at actually developing the other characters and kind of cutting off a lot of those things that are problematic in the action genre, as somebody who does love it and who watches this all the time. And yeah, I love those kinds of movies. But it's nice to hear that in good, normal ways, more female characters are actually being characterized as just standard people. It's not just oh, it's all woman power. Everything's kind of those really performative female characters. It sounds like she's just a good character, and it's not she's good because she's a woman. And it's no, she's just generally a good, well-written character, it sounds like.
Written as a person, not as a gender trope to be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Or what did I say? 100 what?
It's just 100 right.
100 right?
Something
yeah,
like
okay.
100 right. 100 good.
So Shelina, before we fully end off and do like our ending spiel, blah, 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 is there anything that you are excited about right now outside of talking about Neagley today? Like, is there a current like little obsession of a show, a game, or something that you kind of want to like plug for other people to maybe also check out or whatever?
I am notoriously behind on anything that comes out. As Tori says, I'm one of those old people who likes to go to movie theaters to watch the previews so I know what's happening. So with that being said, all I know that's coming out... I haven't been to the movies in a while. But the only thing I know that's coming out is they're like remaking Avatar: The Last Airbender as them in their like 20s, I believe. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's like a sequel or something, and I'm super curious about it. Yeah.
That would be cool because in Legend of Korra, when we did get like the like background, like little glimpses of the characters when they were like adults, it made me very intrigued to see them.
Yeah,
explore adulthood.
So I think that'll be very interesting to watch, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've seen some of like the promo photos or some of the promo images, and it looks really cool. And I'm just like, badass adults. Love it.
I just want to see Toph continue to be a badass.
I know.
Literally.
If she was a badass as a grandma, she's going to be a badass in her prime.
Yeah. She's going to be even more scary.
Oh, yeah.
Right? She was scary as a child and as a grandma. So the middle.
Maybe she gets really soft in the middle because she has to have kids at some point.
I was going to say...
that's true. Maybe we see her fall in love.
She just like... It's like a one-night stand and she's just like, I don't actually need a man in my life. I just want a baby.
I can also see that happening with Tom.
Yes, I could respect that
I
too.
can be a single mom and that's all that I want and I don't actually need a man. So...
I invented metal bending as a blind child. I can do parenting.
And
Who needs to see? I can hear.
Yeah. Create just a bunch of badass children who are incredible.
They are. They're pretty powerful women. So, Shelina, what can we get from you to plug and like have everyone find you in places? What credits can we give you?
I don't really use social media, but you can check out my little podcast that I run with my fiance. It's called Double D20s.
Yay!
So Alison's on it.
Yeah.
She's on the season that's coming out now.
Yee! How many seasons have you guys done total, even if they're not all out?
Oh, that's a Tori question. Six. We're recording 7 now. Well, technically we're recording season 10 now, but we have to record 7, 8, and 9 somehow. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff recorded.
Nice. And is there a like Spotify? Where's the main hub to find and listen to the podcast?
Spotify is Double D20s.
Okay.
We have an Instagram, which I believe is also at Double D20s podcast. I'm going to look it up because Tori's going to shoot me if I don't get it right. I deleted Instagram off my phone. I cannot look it up.
I can look it up.
That's okay. We'll make sure that it's in the episode notes.
Thank you so much.
Episode notes, but I will also look it up for you.
I do believe it is Double D20s podcast. But yeah,
yes,
thank
it's
you guys
Double
so
D20s
much.
Podcast. That is correct. You're right.
We had an outside source.
We did.
Site sourced it.
Site sourced. But yeah, no, just a quick, just to make sure that everybody knows what it is. Actual Play podcast, where you guys mostly focus on including people of like diverse backgrounds, genders, etc. So it's a really interesting podcast. Lots of fun. I think it was very fun. I loved recording it. And Fonda's going to be on one of the upcoming seasons too. So
I'm nervous.
Lots of crossover.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I am very excited. That's going to be a fun season. I can already tell we're going to drive Dahlia up a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. And a lot of the stories, too, are not just your standard fantasy realm. The one that's coming out right now is Western. I think there was the camp one is out, where it's just like a... We
did a camp one.
A camp one, where it's just a bunch of kids.
Camp counselors.
A bunch of camp counselors taking care of kids.
We had one about a band, Flower Brains. That was our first one.
Yeah. So lots of just...
good. It was fun.
Just new ways to tell stories and to play a really fun game.
Who doesn't love stories?
And fun ways to play.
Well, thank you so much, Shelina. You can find them and their podcasts and everything else we've talked about on the show. And then you can find Alison and I wherever podcasts can be found. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, because we have that now, at Wench Bench Pod. And if you want to reach out, you can send us an email at wenchbenchpod@gmail.com. All the art for the Wench Bench was designed by the wonderful Tessa Joyce Riecken. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at Werevile. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon. And Shelina, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Adam, I'm recording.
Hi, Anna.
I love you singing, but I told you I was recording at 12.
I didn't see your shoes at the door.
I don't have to put shoes. The door's closed.
Excuse me, bye.
Bye.
I'm so sorry. I heard the singing getting closer and closer, and I'm like, before Shelina keeps talking, I should stop because we'll have to redo it again anyways. My apologies. Let's get back on track.
That's fine. I wrote this in here.
Take your time.
I'm so sorry. I have to look it up.
I get that look all the time. It's all good. The amount of time that we just pause in the podcast, we're just like, what the fuck was I saying?
She has a fear of touch. There's a word for it, and I don't remember what it's called.
Something phobia.
Touchophobia?
An aversion
like
to touch?
No, she's like afraid of it. Like absolutely terrified.
Tactophobia, maybe?
I
feel like might be.
Half a phobia. Half a phobia is it.
Which sounds like half of a phobia.
She has a half a phobia.
I believe it's half a phobia, yeah. So the fact half a phobia. Just half of it. The way she
It's okay. We'll collect ourselves. It's fine. This can be a fun little outro bit Alison can include, is us laughing about.
Oh, I'm for sure putting this at the end.
Rip.